Welcome to Longevity Masters. I'm Grant Hutchby, and this show is specifically built for founders, operators, and executives who are performing at a high level and have quietly started to notice something is slipping. Your energy isn't what it was. Your recovery is slower. Your clarity might be not as consistent as it used to be. You're still winning in business, but the gap between who you are at work and who you are at home is noticeably growing. And the thing is, you've tried to fix it. You've done the gym phases, diet resets, the sleep tracking, but nothing really has stuck because you've been working on individual habits, not on the system that lies underneath them. That's what this show is all about. Not health, not fitness, not wellness, biological performance, measured and structured, designed for people who run at your level. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through the full Turnback Time System, what it is, how it works, why it works, and how we measure the result. By the end of this, you'll understand your body differently and you'll know exactly what to do next. You're not burning out, you're biologically declining. Here's a question I want you to sit with for a moment. If your business was declining, revenue dropping, systems failing, team underperforming, what would you do? Diagnose it. You'd pull the data, you'd identify the system that was failing, and you'd fix it. You wouldn't just push harder, you'd get strategic. So why is it that the same founders and executives who run world-class businesses, who demand data, systems, and measurable outcomes from everything they touch, are completely winging it when it comes to their own biology? No clear data, no system, no measurement, just reacting, just patching things up. And what makes it worse is that decline is silent. You don't really notice it. It doesn't announce itself. It just compounds quietly, slowly over a long period of time. You're not burning out in a dramatic way. You're biologically declining. And the two things are not the same. Burnout is reversible with rest. Biological decline compounds without intervention. And the scary part is by the time most people feel it, they're already years into their trajectory. I crossed 7 figures and my body was falling apart. I want to tell you where this system came from because it didn't start in a lab. It started with my back and what it cost me. In 2018, I seriously injured my spine. Couldn't train, could barely sit at a desk at long stretches. My productivity collapsed, my mood went with it, and the business felt it as well. I recovered, I got stable, and then classic owner found a mistake. I let the system slide again because the business was growing and I convinced myself I'd sort the body out when things calmed down. Things didn't calm down. And by 2021, my back problem had come back. It was worse, but it wasn't just the back. I was heavier than I should have been. I was drinking more than I wanted to admit. I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours and telling myself it was fine because the business was hitting its numbers. Outwardly, I was successful. Privately, I was compounding in the wrong direction. And here's the thing nobody talks about. It doesn't just affect you. When your energy is gone by the time you get home, your kids and your family get the leftovers. When your clarity is inconsistent, your team get inconsistent decisions. When your recovery is broken, your tolerance is shot and the people closest to you feel it first. The business might be winning, but the most important things in your life are quietly losing. Then 2023 hit, a serious cash flow crisis in the business, and in 2024 we were defrauded by over £250,000, 2 of the hardest periods I've ever navigated as an owner. And what I found was when your biology is already running at a deficit, when your sleep is broken, when your hormones are off, your nervous system is in permanent stress mode, those moments don't just test your business, they reveal who you are under pressure. I wasn't who I wanted to be, and I knew why. It wasn't mindset. It wasn't motivation. It was the system, the biological infrastructure underneath everything. I'd spent years building the business and left the body that runs it completely unmanaged. And here's the thing that really stung. I'm a fully qualified personal trainer and sports injury therapist. I've had that background for over 20 years. So it's not like I didn't know what to do. But that's exactly the point. Personal training addresses maybe one layer of what is actually going on in your body. Sports injury therapy addresses another. They're both valuable, but they're fragments. They're not a full system. Going back to my roots and realizing that even with all of that knowledge, I still couldn't fix this. That was the moment I understood the problem wasn't effort or information. It was that nobody had built a complete system for people like you and me. One that looked at the whole body in sequence with a measurable outcome at the end. That was the moment that I got serious. Not another reset, not another health kick, a proper system built the way that I'd build anything in the business, with structure, with data, with measurable outcomes, and a score that I could track. And Turnback Time was born out of that. Your biological age is not fixed. It's a score and it moves. Let me explain what Turnback Time actually is. We operate under the Revo brand, which stands for Revolve, Evolve, Vitalize, Optimize. It's the philosophy, the 4 stages of what we take every client through. But the system itself, the method that produces the result, is called Turnback Time. The mission is straightforward. We reclaim optimal years of life in as many people as possible. For our clients, it's measurable, provable, and puts them on a biological trajectory to be 10 years younger than their chronological age. Our 5-year target is 10,000 years reclaimed off of our client base. And the long-term vision is 1 million years. And that's not a marketing line. That's a metric, and we track it. There are 3 things that set Turnback Time apart from everything else in this space. The first is our philosophy. The body is a business. It has departments. It has systems. It has management, your hormones. It has KPIs. It has the performance score of your business. When those systems are mismanaged, the business declines. When they're run with structure and intention, performance reverses. The second differentiator is the mechanism. Most programs tell you what to do. More sleep, train harder, better. That's not wrong, but it's incomplete. The real lever is not what you do, it's when you do it. Your body runs on biological rhythms, 6 of them. Each one is time dependent. When those rhythms are aligned, your biology reverses. When they break, and they break silently, you age faster than you should. Timing is the mechanism. That is the core of this whole system. The third differentiator is the score. We measure everything through the BioAge index. Your BioAge index is a unified biological age score that combines 3 layers. Your functional age, which is how your body physically performs. Your metabolic age is how efficiently your internal systems are running. And then your cellular age, which is what your biology looks like at a deeper level. 1 number, 3 layers, and an honest read of where you actually are. Not what you feel, what the data says. The promise of Turnback Time is this. Follow the system and you put yourself on a trajectory to be 10 years younger biologically than your chronological age, measurably, within 12 weeks. This is a trajectory based on data, based on the system doing what the system does. You wouldn't scale a business with a broken operation. Your biology works the same way. So let's get into the system itself, because this is where it gets really tangible. The Turnback Time system is built on what we call the system pyramid. 6 pillars, 6 biological rhythms, 12 hormones, and 12 measurable KPIs. And here's the most important thing to understand about the pyramid before I walk you through each layer. It builds from the bottom up, and you cannot skip a layer. Think about this like a building. You can't put the roof on before the foundations are solid, and you can't scale a business before you've got your operations in line. Every layer depends on the one beneath it. The 6 pillars from base to peak are sleep, which includes timing, energy, which includes nutrition, stress, which includes recovery, training, which covers both strength and endurance, structure, which covers your 4 daily environments, physical, digital, social, and financial, and protocols sit at the top of the pyramid, which includes your supplementation. If your sleep is broken, your energy will always be compromised. There's no nutrition strategy that fixes broken sleep. If your energy is unstable, your stress response will always be dysregulated. No recovery protocol fixes an energy deficit. The sequence really matters. The order of it is totally intentional. You start at the base, you earn the next layer. That's the system. So sleep isn't rest. It's when your body does its most critical work. This is pillar one, sleep. Sleep is the foundation of everything. Not because rest is nice, but because this is when your body runs its most critical biological processes. Cellular repair, hormone regulation, memory consolidation, immune function, and all of it happens in sleep. The biological rhythm that governs sleep is called the circadian rhythm, which is your 24-hour body clock. Disrupt this clock and every other system in the pyramid takes a hit. It's really that foundational. The two hormones we're managing in this layer are cortisol and melatonin. Cortisol is your wake up signal. It's not a stress signal. It should spike sharply within the first hour of your morning. That's what drives alertness, metabolic function, and mental clarity. But here's what most people don't realize. How you handle the first 90 minutes of your morning either sets that cortisol rhythm correctly or it breaks it for the rest of the day. Phone in bed, lie in, no light, no movement. You've already disrupted your system before the day has started. Melatonin is your repair signal. It builds in the final 2 hours before sleep. Light exposure, especially screens, suppress it. Protect those final 2 hours and you protect the quality of everything that happens while you sleep. The KPIs in this layer are sleep score and sleep consistency. Not just how long you sleep, how well, how reliably. Consistency of timing is often more important than the duration. Low energy isn't a motivation problem, it's an operations problem. This is pillar 2 and it's all about energy. Energy is the output of your metabolic system. And in business terms, it's your cash flow. When it runs low, everything else in the operation is under pressure. The rhythm here is the metabolic rhythm, your body's cycle for creating and using energy across the day. The two hormones here are insulin and growth hormone. Insulin is your energy distribution system. It controls how your body processes fuel and what it does with it. The problem for most high-performing founders and executives isn't the quality of what they eat, it's the absence of any structure around when they eat. Skipping breakfast, eating late, grazing through the day. These patterns create metabolic instability that shows up as afternoon crashes, inconsistent focus, and stubborn body composition or belly fat that won't shift no matter how much you train. Growth hormone is your repair and rebuild signal. It drives lean muscle development and physical recovery. It peaks when you train with real intensity and crucially when you give your body proper recovery time after that training. Most people do the hard work and then undermine it with poor recovery. The KPIs here are body fat percentage and restorative sleep quality. Both are direct readouts of how well your energy system is actually functioning. Stress isn't the enemy. A nervous system stuck in overdrive is. This is pillar 3 and stress. Stress is not the problem. Stress is a biological tool. The problem is a nervous system that never gets the signal to stand down. The rhythm here is the neurological rhythm, how your nervous system regulates itself across the day and across the week. Dopamine drives your motivation and your drive to want to do stuff. But here's what's quietly destroying most founders and executives' dopamine system. It's the constant availability of cheap stimulation like notifications, social media, reactive email. Every ping is a micro dopamine hit that over time blunts your capacity for deep, sustained focus. The behavior change isn't complicated. It's delaying the cheap reward. Protecting your attention the same way you'd protect a strategic asset, because that's what it is. Serotonin regulates your mood, stability, and emotional resilience. When it's low, you're shorter tempered, less patient, and more reactive. The single most underrated behavior for serotonin is getting outside every day. Natural light, nature, movement in open space. That's not wellness talk. It's neuroscience. The KPIs in this layer are recovery score and daily steps. Your recovery score tells you whether your nervous system is actually recovering. Steps are proxy for how much time you're spending in low stimulation and less restorative environments. VO2 max is one of the strongest predictors of how you'll live. Most people have never measured it. This is pillar 4 and training. Training at this level is not about aesthetics. It's about preserving and building the physical capacity that keeps you sharp, decisive, and at full output for the next 20, 30, or even 40 years. The rhythm is the hormonal rhythm, your body's adaptation cycle, and how it responds to physical challenge and builds capacity from it. The hormones here are testosterone and endorphins. Testosterone doesn't just drive physical performance, it drives mental edge, strategic clarity, and the capacity to absorb pressure without cracking. It responds directly to strength training, heavy compound movements, progressive load, done consistently. That's the behavior. And the KPI here is grip strength. It's one of the most reliable markers for overall systemic strength and biological age. It sounds simple, but the data behind it isn't. Endorphins drive resilience, mood regulation, and cardiovascular health. The KPI here is VO2 max, your body's aerobic capacity. It's one of the strongest single predictors of longevity in scientific literature. Most founders have never measured theirs. If you're only doing strength work, you're leaving the most important longevity metric completely unaddressed. Your environment is silently running your body. Most people never design it. This is pillar 5 and structure. Structure is how you deliberately design your day so your biology can actually perform at its ceiling. The rhythm here is the ultradian rhythm, your natural focus and recovery cycle. Roughly 90 minutes of peak cognitive output followed by a mandatory rest window. Your brain is not designed for 8 hours continuous deep work. Nobody's is. The hormones here are thyroid and adrenaline. Thyroid drives consistent energy across the day. When it's functioning well, you have stable output, not dramatic afternoon crashes. No dependency on caffeine to get through the afternoon. When it's dysregulated, your day becomes a series of peaks and collapses. Your behavior is building real structure into your work blocks, protecting peak hours for the work that demands the most from you. Adrenaline fuels those short bursts of high performance. The problem is most founders and executives are living in a state of permanent adrenaline, which is not performance. That's cortisol overload wearing the mask of productivity. Now, structure also covers 4 environments. And this is something most performance systems completely ignore. You've got your physical environment, which is your workspace, your home, your bedroom, and how these spaces are designed directly affect your biology. Your digital environment, which is what you consume and when and through what channels. Most people's digital environment is completely unmanaged and is quietly destroying their focus and their dopamine system. Next is your social environment. This is the people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the culture you exist inside daily. These are not soft factors, they're biological inputs. And then lastly, your financial environment, which is your relationship with money, security, and pressure. Financial stress is one of the most chronically under-acknowledged drivers of biological age acceleration. The KPIs in this layer are resting heart rate and HRV, heart rate variability. Both are direct readouts of your nervous system's actual state, not what you think you feel, what the body is actually doing. Supplements don't fix broken foundations, but they amplify a structured system. Pillar 6 is protocols. Protocols is the top of the pyramid, the refinement layer. This is where the marginal gains live, but only once everything beneath it is solid. This is also where supplementation sits, and this is critical as supplements are not a shortcut. They do not fix a broken foundation, but when your sleep, energy, stress, training, and structure are all dialed in, targeted supplementation gives you the final 1%. The rhythm at this layer is the infradian rhythm, the longer biological cycles that operate over weeks and months, controlling deeper hormonal regulation. Estrogen affects body composition, cardiovascular health, and cognitive function in both men and women. More significantly than most people realize, getting the right inputs at the right dosage is nuanced and often it's overlooked. Then we have nitric oxide, which governs vascular efficiency and blood flow. It's the final performance variable, and it shows up directly in blood pressure readings. As you can probably guess, the KPIs in this layer are visceral fat, which is the fat around your organs, and blood pressure. Both are silent metrics. They don't announce themselves, but they're two of the most important numbers in your biological profile. So we have 6 pillars, 6 rhythms, 12 hormones, and 12 KPIs. They are built in sequence, measured consistently, and that is the full system. You can't manage what you don't measure. Your biology is no different. Everything in this system feeds into one score, which is called your BioAge index. This is a unified biological age score that combines your functional age, your metabolic age, and your cellular age into one single number. One honest read on where you actually are, not where you think you are or the number that you like best, because some people are better in different areas. Now, the full BioAge index composite is built from wearable data, metabolic testing, and epigenetic results. That's the complete picture at the end of the 12-week program. But the starting point, the thing that tells you what your current biological age trajectory is based on your behaviors right now, and that's what we call the Turnback Time Scorecard. The Turnback Time Scorecard is a free behavioral audit that I've built for everyone. It maps your current daily behaviors across the 6 pillars of the pyramid, and it tells you with data, not guesswork, what your biological age trajectory looks like right now. Are your behaviors currently aging you faster than your chronological age? Or are they working in your favor? That's what the scorecard reveals. And it's the starting point for everything, because you cannot fix what you haven't diagnosed. The Turnback Time Scorecard gives you that diagnosis. The system gives you the fix. So let me bring this all together for you. You've spent years building something that matters. Business, a team, a life with real stakes. And the body that runs all of it, the one asset you cannot replace, cannot outsource, and cannot rebuild from scratch, that body has been left on autopilot. Not because you don't care, because there was no system designed for someone at your level. Turnback Time is that system, built on 6 pillars, 6 biological rhythms, 12 hormones, and 12 measurable KPIs, anchored to one score, your BioAge index, that tells you exactly where you are and exactly where you're going. It's underpinned by one mechanism that makes it different from everything else. It's not just what you do, it's when you do it. Timing is everything. If you want to know where you currently sit on your biological age trajectory based on your behaviors right now, take the Turnback Time Scorecard. It's a free behavioral audit, and it maps your habits across all 6 pillars that I mentioned, scores your BioAge index trajectory, and shows you exactly where your system is working and where it's breaking down. It takes about 5-10 minutes if you do it properly, and it's the most useful 10 minutes that you'll invest in your biology this year. Head to turnback-time.com. The link is in the description, and it's in my bio across every single social platform. And if this episode landed for you, share it with someone it's meant for. The founder or executive who's running hard but quietly knows something's off. The operator who's winning in the business and losing everywhere else. They need to hear this. I'm Grant Hutchby. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. This is Longevity Masters. And remember, the aim of the game is to live better and live longer. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.